Batting fifth, the third baseman, Greg Nettles. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Lou Piniella. Batting seventh, the first baseman, Jim Spencer. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Brian Doyle. Batting ninth, the shortstop, Bucky Dent. Warming up in the Yankee bullpen, pitcher Jim Catfish Hunter. And the manager of the Yankees, Bob Lemon. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the National League champions, your Los Angeles Dodgers, non-starters, coaches, and trainers.
We had some 55,997. It was a standing ovation. They did it again tonight. They love their Dodgers.
The Dodgers starting lineup for this evening. Batting first, the second baseman, the Dodger team captain, Davey Lopes. Batting second, the shortstop, Bill Russell. Batting third, the right fielder, Reggie Smith.
Reggie appears to want to really start to break loose. During batting practice, he was really popping the ball.
Batting fourth, the first baseman, Steve Garvey.
So popular, and hidden behind the lady is his dad, and what a proud father he is, naturally, Steve Garvey.
Batting fifth, the third baseman, Ron Cey. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Dusty Baker. Batting seventh, the center fielder, Rick Mundy. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, Lee Lacy. Batting ninth and catching, Steve Yeager.
Well, we should get a tremendous reaction when they introduce Lasorda. Listen for it.
Warming up in the Dodger bullpen, pitcher Bert Hooton. And the manager of the Dodgers, Tommy Lasorda. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise for a moment of silence in memory of Dodger great Jim Gilliam, to whom this World Series is dedicated. Thank you. And now, to honor America, our national anthem will be sung by Vicky Carr.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
NBC will bring you the second game of the World Series following the ceremonial first pitch right after this message.
Waller, very quickly, you won 4 world titles, 7 pennants here. Your biggest World Series thrill as a Dodger manager?
Anytime you win a World Series, it's got to be a thrill, and they're all pretty even. I suppose the first one way back in 1955, when Padres finished the Yankees off in the 7th game, may have been the most important one to me, and certainly that was a thrill. But like I said, they all have been.
How are you predicting this one?
Well, I believe the Dodgers can do it.
And people want to know, what are you doing now? Where are you living?
Oh, I'm back in Ohio, mowing grass, playing golf, and enjoying myself.
That's the way it should be. Thanks, Waller. Walter Alston, now upstairs to Joe.
Waller Alston, it's good to see him, Kurt, and he's just mowing grass and enjoying life. Smokey Alston. The umpires will be Bill Haller behind the plate, John Kibler at first base, Marty Springstead, the American League, will be at second base, Frank Pulley, National League, third base, left field line, Joe Brinkman of the American League, and Ed Fargo down the right field line from the National League. Here come the Dodgers.
Defense for the Dodgers. Steve Garvey playing first base. Davey Lopes, the second baseman again tonight. 2 big home runs yesterday. Bill Russell playing at shortstop. At third base, Ron Cey. He had a big September with 7 home runs late in the season. There's the left fielder, Dusty Baker. He started it all going last night with that home run in the second. Center field, Rick Monday. Played on the same team as Catfish Hunter, the pitcher for the Yankees tonight. Out in right field for the Dodgers, it's Reggie Smith. Steve Yeager's doing the catching. And the pitcher, old Smiley, Bert Hooton.
Tony, that was an interesting shot of Yeager because the sun is not a factor here yet. He's catching with tinted glasses, as you can barely see through that mask. You can see the flap to protect the Adam's apple, but the glass is a bit tinted, better vision. Although the sun this time of the day, 5:37 here in Los Angeles, according to the scoreboard clock, really not a factor. But it is tough to pick up that ball as a hitter, Tom. You pitchers get all the breaks.
They claim we get all the breaks. I'm not too sure about that. A lot of the hitters that do come into this park, you're exactly right, Joe. That background, sometimes those poles out there, the one with the American flag and the other one was the, I guess that must be the National League flag from last year hanging on it, half staff. Some of the hitters lose the ball in the poles that are out there.
I've always felt, times we played here when the Angels were here to the World Series, that this mound is higher than any other. In fact, I've heard umpires say that they come in here almost every time, or periodically anyway, and measure the height of the mound.
Yeah, but Figueroa was claiming that one of his flowers was too flat.
Well, that too.
How about it, Tom? You pitched off this mound.
Not anymore, Joe. It used to be when I first broke into the league in 1967. This was one of the highest mounds, and I think they patterned it after the, well, really for Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, that era, and it stayed real high for quite a while. It's down pretty good now. I mean, it's an honest mound now. I'd say the highest mound in the league now probably in San Francisco.
Spoken like a true pitcher.
Here's the first pitch of the game. Roy White takes it high, ball one. Reason for the high mound, those overhand throws, it makes you feel like you're hitting uphill. They're always throwing down to you. Roy White swings and misses. A good cut at it, though. Took something off. Was that the knuckle curve?
There it is, and they're going to see a lot of that if he can get it over strikes, and it's a very difficult pitch to hit if he can get it down in the strike zone. He can even, like Bert said in the pregame show, he can even make bad pitches with it and get away with it. Look at that.
I think that it resembles when we were kids that pitch we called the drop. Remember you had a drop, an in shoot, an out shoot, and a riser. This is a drop. Good shot here. Well hit right field, but Reggie Smith's got him played perfectly. 1 out. Hooton and Hunter, the pitching matchups as Gary Thomason comes up. Since August 1st, not including the playoff games, Hooton has won 8, lost 3. Hunter 9-2. Earned run average of 1.95 for Hooton. Hunter 2.23. 12 games started for both, 5 complete games, so they're almost identical from August 1st, not including the playoffs. Here's Gary Thomason, 6 feet, 180 pounds, 27 years old. Born in San Diego, lives in Phoenix now. Takes it inside. Began his pro career in the Giants organization. He's playing in place of the injured Mickey Rivers. All kinds of rumors going around before the game. There's a bouncing ball into center field. Rumors that Mickey Rivers was in trouble because of a rule infraction, and of course, as Bob Lemon told Kurt Gowdy in the pregame show, anything the Yankees do is blown out of proportion. You know the situation we're in.
Interesting to see early in the ball game if Bob Lemon goes to some hit and running, especially with Munson, with Randolph and Rivers both out of the lineup with the bad legs. Lemon, we thought yesterday, might run some base runners early in the game. He didn't. He might today.
Munson can handle that bat. Last night he was 0 for 4 during the season, hit .297, 6 home runs and 71 runs batted in. 31 years old. He is a tough out. There goes the runner. They didn't wait long. Here's the throw. It's a low throw.
Oh, he overslid.
Overslid the bag. He had it and overslid it. Going in with your hand could be a problem.
It was a knuckle curve and a tough ball to pick up for Yeager to throw. Davey Lopes makes a good half-out pickup. You can see Thomason's in, plenty of time. Overslides it, he's out. Good call by Springstead. Springstead waited till the play was completed. Did not call it too soon. So the Yankees tried some hit and run.
That's hit to left center field. Baker's giving it a chase, and it's off the wall. It'll be extra bases. Munson goes into second base, so the Thomason play looms very big. Hooten has given up 2 hits. First 3 batters he has faced. No run scored since they got Thomason at second.
You can see Dusty Baker play the ball off the wall, played it really very well. Thurman Munson has very good speed for a catcher and made it to second base easily.
Munson at second brings up Reggie Jackson. Jackson 3 for 4 last night. Had a big home run. On the season, 27 home runs, drove in 97 runs, hit 274. Low, ball 1. Seemed that Thomason was almost determined on that steal to try to come in the back door after he touched it with his trying to hook it. Just slid right around it. It cost the Yankees as Munson came up with a double. You see him at second. There's the strike. Bill Haller behind the plate. No score, ball game just getting started.
One of the things you'll see, Joe, now Bert Hooten can make his knuckle curveball go away from a left-hander, or he can just make it go straight down. He gets it going both ways. That was a fastball inside. Reggie looks like he's looking for that knuckle curveball. No balls and 2 strikes, or 1-1 it was.
Tom, if it's a knuckle curveball going away from Jackson, why would that not be a screwball?
It's like a screwball, but he can make the ball go away from the left-hander. It's pretty unorthodox.
He's just picked it up. You were talking yesterday about applying pressures with different fingers to make the ball move, and that's what Hooten has learned this year. There it was.
There it was. Just what they were talking about. Jackson is out on strikes. And here is the pitch again. Watch it break to the outside part of the plate. Jackson seems to have a good cut. He misses it by a foot and a half. That ends it. No score, top of the first.
There's the defense. Jim Spencer, chambliss with a bad hand. Unable to play today. Brian Doyle. First World Series game. He's thrilled, a little bit frightened. There's Bucky Dent, the shortstop for the Yankees. Third baseman, Greg Nettles. Out in left field, reliable Roy White. Center field, Gary Thompson. He has a better arm than Mickey Rivers out there.
Leading off for your Los Angeles
Right fielder,
Dodgers,
once again tonight, Lou Piniella.
second baseman. The Dodger team.
Here's the catcher, Thurman Munson, talking to Bill Haller. Haller's brother at one time, a Major League catcher, Tom. And there's Jim Catfish Hunter, who came on strong late in the season for the Yankees.
Catfish likes to work in a hurry. Davey Lopes had a big night last night. 2 home runs, 2 for 5. He's a first ball hitter and a fastball hitter. He pops up the first pitch, and Nettles will have a play. 1 out.
Talking about these 2 pitchers and the pace they might set tonight as opposed to last night's game where some of the pitchers took a lot of time and there were changes. Both Hooten and Catfish Hunter especially, they get the ball and want to throw it. Catfish especially throws a lot of strikes and they go after the first pitch.
And with that kind of rhythm, you're going to see good plays because everybody's on their toes. Here's Bill Russell, right on the outside corner. Strike 1, 29 years old. Pittsburgh, Kansas, lives in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Bucky Dent, 2 outs.
Batting third.
Reggie Smith, 2 outs, nobody on, no score, bottom of the first, game 2 of the 1978 World Series. And Reggie Smith with .295 on the regular season. He was 1 for 5 last night. Good power. He had 29 home runs during the regular season.
There's something out at right field that has come down to the playing field, I believe, from the upper deck. And the right field foul line umpire, Ed Vargo, has a youngster remove it, as you saw. There's a Yankee fan, had a Yankee cap on. The fellow to the right of that boy with the blue cap on, the Dodger helmet.
Catfish. He really comes to the ballpark early, brother. Smith fouls it back as Catfish gets inside and just fires. What time does he get here? About noon?
Playing the ball player's favorite card game, Pluck. Yogi was in it, Munson, Catfish.
That was high. Reggie Smith. Here I thought they would, before the game, just be pouring over those scouting reports. They're playing Pluck. Popped up. Spencer at first base, taking charge. Makes the play, so it's a 1-2-3 inning. Catfish Hunter does the job, and due up for the Yankees in the top of the second, it'll be Greg Nettles, Lou Piniella, and Jim Spencer. 0-0 the score. Fan Jack Klug, when they show up here at Dodger Stadium, as we get set to watch Greg Nettles. He jumped on that first pitch, fouls it back. He had a good cut at a high fastball.
You watch Hooten. One thing unusual about Bert Hooten is that if we can get a shot from upstairs, you can see that his feet on the rubber. He starts from the left-hand side of the rubber. Right-hand pitchers normally would start on the right-hand side. Bert starts on the left-hand side. There you can see the rubber. He's all the way over on the left-hand side of the rubber.
Why, Tom?
I guess he probably feels comfortable over there. Most pitchers would get on the right side so they can get the kind of angle, the bigger angle they would want to home plate. I know I pitch on the right side. I've never felt comfortable pitching on the left-hand side.
It looks like from where he's standing, he would have a better shot at the outside corner. If he go the other way, he'd have to throw into the hitter.
With that knuckle curveball that he's got, the score goes away from the left-hand hitters. That might possibly be true.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's strike two.
The other thing that Bert does, too, Joe, is that you see he gets a great amount of arch in his back. I mean, he really leans back, and that'll throw your arm up top and help you throw overhand, which he certainly likes to do.
Nice play by Yeager. Go looking for wallets and ash cans when you make plays like that. He just put his hand down there. Was the ball? 2 balls, 2 strikes, no score. We're in the top of the second. Nobody on, nobody out. Tomorrow's a travel day, and then it's Game 3 in Yankee Stadium on Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. It looks like Ron Guidry will be the pitcher for the Yankees. Ball 3, and if you have not seen Guidry, you are really in for something.
There you can see Hooten starting from the left side of the rubber, and watch him how he really arches his back, and this allows him to get his arm up on top, coming almost all the way straight down through the strike zone. Nothing bothers him. He's a real cool character.
Easy out.
Putting a changeup like that.
2 changeups in a row, Tony. Kind of unusual for him. He's got a decent changeup. He doesn't throw it a whole lot. Funny there, he threw 2 in a row to Nettles. They know Nettles is a good fastball hitter, and they're going to try and stay away from the fastball in situations where it might be the pitch that Greg would be guessing for.
Here is Lou Piniella. Piniella, one of the solid hitters in the American League. Had a good year, hit .314, 6 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Talking about Jack Klugman being a big baseball fan. Danny Kaye, I'm sure would like to be out here. Part owner of the Mariners is on a soundstage right now with Bob Hope, getting ready for that big Bob Hope special. Sunday, October 15th. Forget the date. Probably be the Sunday of the 5th game. Strike is called.
These Yankee hitters have seen Hooten before, as you well know, last year. And they have different theories on hitting him. Piniella said he's going to look for fastballs and try and go downtown, which he almost did.
He's getting pretty close, Tony.
He said, I'm tired of doing what I did last night, pecking away at the ball, going the other way on pitchers like Tommy John. There goes Reggie back to the wall.
He gave it that extra reach, Tony.
You know, a few years ago, that would not have even come close to the warning track. They moved home plate more towards center field about 6 or 7 years ago, I believe, about 10 or 15 feet. So it has become a little bit better hitting park.
See, the hitters have all the advantage, don't they?
Well, you guys could doctor the baseball.
Here is Jim Spencer. Big guy, 6'2", 195, 31 years old. Powerful hitter. He can hit. Grandfather played professional ball for 18 years. Ben Spencer takes the pitch outside. Jim Spencer does. You remember his grandfather, don't you, Tony?
Oh, Ben? You bet.
Low ball hitter. Played 1913 for the Washington Senators, 8 games. Inside, Spencer. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on. Tom Lasorda. Monty Basgall, and there's Lemon. That's not from last night. That's tonight, live. Well hit, base hit.
Another off-speed pitch. Don't know if it was the knuckle curve or a straight change. Hooten at times, Tom, I get the feeling that even when he throws the knuckle curve, because it is so hard, he can get away with it up in the strike zone. It's just so hard.
It's a point he made in the pregame show, Tony, that he can make bad pitches even with his knuckle curveball and get away with them. Spencer jumped all over that one, though, that's for sure.
Hooten will be pitching to Brian Doyle, a youngster, younger brother of Denny Doyle. There you see him, 24 years old, lives in Cave City, Kentucky. He's a contact hitter, just puts that bat on the ball. He'll sting you. Takes it low, ball 1. He's one of those guys, nits and gnats. They just keep nibbling at you. They nip you. Don't really hurt you, but they sting you. Get on base for the big guys. Straight away center field. Monday has a beat on it. And that ends the inning. So we go to the bottom half of the second inning. It's Yankees nothing and the Dodgers nothing. 2 up for the Dodgers. Steve Garvey, Ron Cey, and Dusty Baker. 1,997 last night. Just got to get 3 more people in it to get over 56. Okay, that's a good idea. NBC is Garvey. Garvey was 2 for 5 last night. Wow, he really lost that bat right into the Dodger dugout. See Dusty Baker comes up with it.
There's some hitters that do that a lot. Tony Oliva was one I can recall. I've never seen Garvey do this. Let a few guys scatter. There's Dusty.
Tom Lasorda, usual spot right next to the bat rack. Garvey with the pine tar, the glove. Garvey and Enos Cabell, the only National League players, no games missed in 1978. Catfish misses outside. Garvey ended the season with a consecutive game streak of 510 games. That's 3 full years plus. You not only have to be strong, you have to be a bit lucky. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nobody out. Bottom of the second inning, no score. Catfish Hunter worked a perfect first inning, 3 up and 3 down. Tried to hit that outside corner, missed.
That's when Catfish has made his living. There's Ron Cey on deck for the Dodgers, but Catfish can stay on that outside corner most of the day. When he's right, he might have to the way this Dodger club swinging the bats.
He had a good cut at that 3-1 pitch. Didn't get it.
He's always impressed me, Tom, the way he changes speeds. Not necessarily a straight change, but every fastball is a little bit different, has good location usually when he's got the control, and good movement on the ball.
Well, he's throwing fastballs right here to a pretty good fastball hitter in Steve Garvey. And I was talking to Jim before the game, and he says, I'm not going to fool around. If I get in a position where I have to make a pitch, I'm going to go with a pitch that I can control the best. I'm going to go with my fastball. He feels he has to establish his slider to be able to be effective. You know, I think his biggest attribute, he's just a tremendous competitor.
Foul ball out of play.
He has tremendous amount of experience in postseason play, and he just, you know, he's got the guts of a burglar, and he's a fantastic competitor on the mound.
Bob Lemon, Gene Monahan, Gene Michaels, Monahan the trainer. 3-2 pitch. Center field. Thomason has plenty of room. Makes the play, and there's 1 out. You know, in Catfish Hunter's case, they always bring up the number of home runs allowed. He holds the American League record. I think that's one of the most ridiculous statistics kept for one of the reasons. Only only a good pitcher can give up a lot of home runs, and a guy like this is always around the plate. He's not wild, and so you're going to hit a lot of home runs off pitches just off the plate.
You're not going to give up a lot of home runs if you don't pitch a lot of innings. That's exactly what you're saying, Joe. I mean, he's got to be a good pitcher to be out there that long to give up that many home runs.
Fastball inside. I remember in my day, Preacher Rowe used to give up 4 home runs a game, and he'd beat you 5-4 because nobody was ever on base.
That's exactly right. When do you get the home runs? It's like the solo home run that Reggie Jackson hit last night. The score was 7-0 Dodgers when he hit it when Tommy John gave it up.
2 balls and no strikes. Ron Cey, 1 man out, nobody on. Hot smash, Nettles backhands it like a vacuum cleaner down there. Cey is out.
Nettles misses very few. He ranges both ways, right or left.
Number 12.
He does something for humility that he's got on his glove. He's got a big E5 put it on the back of his glove. So it kind of humbles him once in a while. He is something, though. He's good as anybody around down there.
Dusty Baker's a hitter, but let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
This is Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver, Kurt Gowdy at Dodger Stadium. Game 2 of the World Series. Dodgers won last night. Right here, 2 outs, nobody on. Dusty Baker, the hitter, no score. We're in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Hunter against Hooten.
Tom, I think an interesting point you made on Hooten, and you tried to use the analogy of how pitchers usually stand. Well, Hunter's just what you talk about. He is way toward the third base side of the rubber. Again, to get the advantage of that slider on the outside corner or that fastball, too.
2 balls, no strikes. There's the strike right on that outside corner. He doesn't give in. He just does not give in. You're going to hit his pitch.
You know what he does, too, Kurt? Joe, he gets right back on the mound. I mean, he's not fooling around at all. Look at him. He throws that pitch, backs up, gets on the rubber. Gets a new baseball now, and he'll go down and rub it up. But he doesn't fill around on the mound. You know, he doesn't walk around. He doesn't take his time. He doesn't
Cliff Johnson
clean his feet.
Cliff Johnson hitting takes more time than Hunter. Right center field. This is deep. Could be trouble. Pinello motions. He's got it right at the warning track. He took charge of that ball early. He was ready. He was there, made the play. Hunter, another perfect inning. 6 up, 6 down. So we complete 2 innings of baseball here. It's 0-0 in this 2nd game of the World Series. And for the Yankees, it'll be Bucky Dent, Roy White, and Gary Thomason. Have a delay here. No score. And talking about Sunday, Bob Hope's special will be there, and game 5. They say if necessary, but I think that's almost unnecessary to say if necessary where these 2 teams play. Bucky Dent will lead it off. We're in the 3rd inning. There's his strike. Right on that outside corner. The Yankee players just felt like they were blown out of it, and the reaction was, what's the difference if you lose 20-0 or 1-0, referring to last night's game.
I think Greg Nettles' point was very well taken. He said that's the kind of game you'd rather lose. You know, go ahead and lose 11-5. The heartbreaker is the one that really emotionally drains you, is that 2-1 game or that 3-2 game, the real close game where, you know, you're putting all that emotional energy into the ball game all the way up to the last out.
Outside, 3 balls and no strikes.
Players will say that at times, Tom, but I know you never want to see a 20-game winner hammered. And
No,
they've both been
that's for sure.
hammered like they were yesterday by the Dodgers. Got to give some credit to those Dodger batters the way they're swinging.
3 balls, 2 strikes now on Bucky Dent, who appeared to be taking it all away. Hooten has allowed 3 hits with no score. Popped up. Bill Russell going out, calling for it, and there's 1 away. There was a story about a Yankee incident, and Kurt Gowdy has more details on that, so let's get it from Kurt.
Well, you know, Joe, it's been quiet time the last couple of months with the Yankees. They've just been playing and winning. But today on the bus, Mickey Rivers tried to take a friend on the bus. It's against the club policy. The traveling secretary, Bill Kane, and Mickey Rivers got into a shoving match. It was broken up by the manager, Bob Lemon, and Coach Elston Howard. Things are quiet again, but we did want to clear up the rumor in the sweeping around Dodger Stadium. That's it, Joe.
Okay, Kurt. I can't wait to see the movie and read about it in the paper. And that'll be a beauty if they had a little shoving match, because there'll be more blows thrown in Ali Spink fight. Well hit. Nobody's going to get this one. Roy White rounds first here. Holds him up. Beautiful play by Monday. What a throw.
You saw the difference right there about the Dodger outfield versus the Yankee outfield. Kept right on going. Roy White has pretty good speed, although lately he's been bothered by an Achilles tendon pull. He wants to go. He goes almost halfway, but Monday makes such a good play. They will tell you that if it's to the glove side, left side, if it were a right-handed thrower, keep on going because he's got to turn all the way around to throw. But Monday backhanded it. It was right in position to throw. Good play.
Championship clubs will do that. They'll keep that double play in order on defense, stay away from it on offense. Here is Thomason. He takes it low and inside for ball one. He singled to center field his first time up. Thomason replacing Mickey Rivers. He was traded by the Giants to Oakland as part of the Vida Blue deal in March, acquired by the Yankees from Oakland for Del Alston and Mickey Klutz, June of '78. Gary Thomason. There's the strike. They thought this fella might be a fixture in the Yankee outfield. Yankees playing without Chambliss, who's hurt. Randolph will not be eligible in the series. Mickey Rivers. One man out, one ball, one strike, no score, third inning. Yeager blocks it nicely.
That's the pitch the Yankee hitters are very aware of. White at first base being held by Garvey. Try and lay off that knuckle curveball when it's down low. It's the kind of pitch as a hitter you can't forget a Hooten has, because it's one that can embarrass you. You can swing it when it bounces in the dirt, so it's always on your mind.
You saw Thomason really giving Dick Hauser a good look at third. There goes Roy White. Fouled it off. I'm telling you, of course, the play's over, so you sound like a real genius, but the way he was staring at the coach, I'd have pitched out right there. I really would have, because he wasn't sure. You knew something was on.
You know, Roy White made a fine play on the ball in the outfield by staying at first. A lot of experience, and a fellow that knows how to play baseball, Tony, and that's one of the reasons why the New York Yankees are here.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. White's holding. Left field. Dusty Baker should make the play easily. He does. You know, as a catcher, a lot of times you not only look where the hitter plants his feet and how close he is to the plate, you just watch his actions. How often does he look at the coach? Does he really stare at him, or does he just casually look at him? And the great shot we had, I don't know which camera took it, but whoever, you did a great job, because Thomason was staring at Hauser so much as if to say, you give me a sign, I don't know. And you know a bunt's not on, so it had to be a hit and run.
I haven't played too much lately, and I'm not too sure of the signs.
Exactly, Tom. Here's Munson getting set in there.
He's a guy's got the excellent plate coverage. You can pitch in sometimes 6 inches off the plate, and he can drill in the right field corner.
Takes this one inside for ball one. He doubled his last time up, doubled into left field. Thurman Munson. There's the strike. There's the way to watch the game. Be at the ballpark and get an aerial that works so you can have a picture.
Guy's having picture trouble, missed himself on TV.
It's a big chance for showbiz, and he lost it because he didn't have the right battery. That's the slump, folks. 1 ball, 1 strike. Quick throw. Safe. That's an ad-lib play. A lot of times, as a catcher, you have a sign, first baseman will tell you, you refer to it as "I'll be there," which means that if you as a catcher get the pitch, the first baseman will be there. I mean, it's not a pitch-out play.
Hooten now is beginning to stop a little bit more like pitchers are supposed to. One pitch that White tried to go on, he went into that nice, leisurely, keep on going, don't take the full second stop.
There goes White now. And White will make it. Yeager couldn't come up with it, and White has himself a stolen base.
You know, I think right here, we've got to give Roy White some credit. Now, he rounded first base on that one play in the ball in the outfield when Mundy threw back, and he held up. That's a lot of experience to do that. He had one hit and run, and here he is now going to second base and getting himself down in scoring position. He doesn't do it on pure speed. What Roy White has done, how he's gotten to second base, is strictly experience and knowledge and know-how how to play the game of baseball.
Boone takes a long time to get the ball to home plate, too. A big delivery leg kick. He bends back, as you mentioned earlier.
Roy White, 231 lifetime steals, second to Hal Chase on the all-time Yankee list. So on his quiet, positive way, he's compiling some records. That's fouled out of play. The count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs, and Roy White at second base. No score, top of the third. Game 2 of this World Series. Dodgers won last night, 11-5. We travel to New York. Off day tomorrow, and then Friday night, Ron Guidry against Don Sutton. You'll see it all right here on NBC. Base on balls. I think he pitched around him, Tom. He wasn't going to give in to it. That's the guy he wanted to have beat him.
You know that Reggie Jackson's up there. You know, Munson is so good as a situation hitter with men on base. He'll look, but he's going from the frying pan into the fire right here, where Reggie swings the bat.
Who do you think is more likely to get a hit, not a home run, Munson or Jackson?
Right now, Jackson. The percentages are in his favor.
Why?
The left-hander against a right-handed pitcher, and he tears the ball apart in the World Series play.
Well, I disagree with you. I think that at this particular spot, with Munson up there just trying to get a base hit, Jackson can give you 3 quick runs, but if you needed a base hit, I would pick Munson. But then I'm here and he's there, right?
I tell you, he wanted that last pitch. He didn't want to walk Thurman Munson and pitch to Reggie Jackson. He threw the pitch, and after he threw it, it was ball 4. He had a little genuflect on the mound, and he was upset.
Right field, Reggie Smith over. He cannot get it. It's a fair ball. And 1 run scores. Here comes Munson. They may have a play. The tag by Tag. He missed him. He missed him, and Munson comes in standing up, and that may have been the difference.
I'll tell you what. Only a catcher might have made that base running play. We saw Lou Brock do it in the World Series a few years back, but as soon as Thurman Munson saw that Yeager had to go up the line, here's Reggie. He almost made one heck of a play on the line because he was playing deep. Cannot find the ball. Now he does. You can see the right field umpire Vargo saying, what a rifle he throws all the way to home plate. And Munson, by coming in standing up, probably made it. If he had slid, he'd have been tangled in the legs of Yeager, might not even have seen home plate.
I think Yeager's got it blocked right there. He has got it blocked. The line, and Munson made a quick right turn. Look how he's got it blocked. He's looking for the slide.
I don't think he gets the ball, Joe. I think the ball bounces up into his chest. He doesn't get the ball in his glove, doesn't get control of the ball.
He didn't have the ball, but he's still got the plate blocked. You're right, Tom.
Definitely good running play by Thurman Munson, though.
I'll tell you another thing that you might call a mistake, but Reggie Smith threw the ball all the way in by himself. Garvey was out for cutoff. Of course, Steve doesn't have a good throwing arm, but still he was out there in cutoff position, and the ball took about 5 bounces.
And with this, boys, let's remember that the man, Reggie Jackson, I tell you, there's something about October. He just gets the job done. He had 3 hits last night, and there he is. He's just given the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Reggie looks like he's confused.
2 outs, man on second, Reg.
You wonder if he's looking for a sign of steal to try and generate some excitement. It'd be unlikely with a left-handed hitter up like Nettles and 2 outs, but he's really looking at Hauser. Saying, give me the sign. Shake him up. Be a bad play.
Yeah, it might be a very bad play. 2 outs. No advantage getting to third base. Very small advantage in the high-risk play. He can do that.
Lance Rutson begins to loosen up the sinker ball for the Dodgers.
1 strike, 2 outs, 2-0. Yankees have taken the lead. Took something off. You know that Munson, you remember the play he made when he just tagged up from third base, a little pop fly to the infield in the playoffs. Just nobody can help you on that play. You have to do it yourself.
He's as sound of base runners as the Yankees have, even though he doesn't possess the good speed.
Did he get it?
No,
Foul
appeal
tip.
play.
Bill
Appeal
Haller
play.
was screened, and he got the play from the third base umpire, Frank Pulley.
That's very good work by the umpires. You watch the umpire behind the plate, Bill Haller, and he's going to ask right away. Now, he knows there's some confusion whether the ball did go into the dirt. You can
There
see
it
it in
is,
the
hit the
dirt
ground.
right there. It's underneath the glove. And look,
What an acting job by Yeager. That was great.
Haller goes right down to Frank Pulley, and Pulley said, no, foul ball.
Jackson was helping, too. High fastball. Nettles is out on strikes. That ends the inning, but the Yankees have a good one as they score 2. We go to the bottom of the third. It's New York 2, Dodgers nothing, and for the Dodgers, Rick Monday, Lee Lacy, and Steve Yeager. Now on the soundstage with Bob Hope, probably watching this game instead of working. Danny Kaye will be there. Glenn Campbell, Charles, Steve Martin, Jim Henson, lovely Cheryl Teagues, Billy Martin, Howard Cosell. Howard's going to do the genesis of baseball from a Revelation Dead Sea Scrolls. That's going to be worth it with that voice of his. Tell it like it is, Howard. Johnny Bench, Vida Blue, Don Drysdale, Koufax, Davis, Mantle, plus many more. That's October 15th, Sunday. Drysdale's going to dance with Koufax and Davis in that show. That'll be worth it. That's popped up straight back. It'll be out of play.
Rick Monday, the hitter at the plate against Catfish Hunter right now, play together on the same team with the Oakland A's, American League pennant team. And I asked him if he learned anything playing behind Catfish Hunter. He said, I learned more about pitching in one game playing behind him than anywhere else. And that was the day he pitched the perfect game against the Twins in 1968.
Pulled way foul by Monday. You know, World Series, everybody really gets into the act. It's such a big spectacle. In fact, Phil Silvers had the greatest line. He said, how can you close a hit show after 7 days playing to capacity crowds? That's the kind of hit. And the reason I bring that up, this morning in the paper they had biorhythms, as we look at Reggie Jackson, and they observed that Rick Monday should be effective early because his cycles are up in all areas. So we look at Mickey Rivers, who is, there he is.
The reason he's playing is because of a not playing because of a pulled leg muscle, not the thing that happened on the bus.
Tony, I thought maybe that Bob Lemon had read this because it said Mickey Rivers and Reggie Jackson, if they were not such outstanding players, should sit the series out. Both are in low cycles. Chase the low ball. And that's the first strikeout.
Batting game, number 34.
You recognize that fella? Vince Bajetta, that's who that is. Vincenzo Bajetta. He's the star of NBC's new series, The Eddie Capra Mysteries. Vince is from the Bronx. Gotta be with a name like that, huh? Yankee fan. You'll see him, The Eddie Capra Mysteries, this Friday, 10 to 11, right after the Rockford Files. That a boy, Vincenzo. Nice to smile. Vince Bajetta, one of the upcoming stars, as Lee Lacy. Up there with a count of strike one. Strike two. Two to nothing. Yankees are out in front. Bottom of the third. Curveball misses. One man out. Nobody on. Catfish Hunter trying to even it up. Travel day tomorrow, and then it's Ron Guidry against Don Sutton, that big Friday night game. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he is a fast worker, Tony.
Oh,
he just gets the ball, gets back on the mound.
You'll see some teams, Tom, who will step out of the batter's box, take a long time getting in on him. They want to change his rhythm, mess up his rhythm. Dodgers have not yet started to do it.
Doesn't look like it bothers them. Doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would bother. You sit there and wait for it. Been around, played too much. Got 222 career victories.
Hit well to right field, but Piniella is there. He makes the play.
You know, one of the amazing things about Catfish this year that he underwent some manipulation for his right shoulder. He couldn't even get his arm back past his right shoulder, and they put him to sleep. He went in and they manipulated his shoulder and tore all the adhesions out around his shoulder, around the cuff of his shoulder and everything. Packed his arm in ice for about 4 hours, and then he went out and threw. Started throwing a little bit every day. It was 9-2 going down the stretch. It's an incredible story. He said he got up after they put him to sleep. He got up and moved his shoulder, and he said it didn't hurt. First time it hadn't hurt since the first day of spring training.
Amazing. Yeager takes it, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs, nobody on. Dodgers lead 2-0. Yeager was 0 for 4 last night. Yankees lead 2-0. I say Dodgers.
Yeager looks like the kind of guy that if you get something inside part of the plate, he could give you a lot of trouble. He's awfully strong. Thurman has been sitting on the outside part of the plate. I'm going to believe if Cat throws him anything, it's going to be inside off the plate. There he's outside again.
That's out of play.
One thing about Thurman Munson behind the plate, Joe, and I know you know a lot more about it than I do, he keeps his pitcher in the groove.
He's down low, gives a nice low target, and really shows a lot of authority back there by just moving around saying, here's where I want it. He does everything with a lot of confidence. Look at him. Look where he's going. And when he missed out of the strike zone. He didn't miss into the fat part of the plate, and that to me is the sign of the good pitcher. If you're going to miss away.
You know, baseball is a bunch of funny little things. You see him shaking his head there? He wants Catfish to shake his head, so Yeager sees him shaking his head. This cat and mouse game between the pitcher and the hitter is one of the most beautiful things in baseball. The communication between the catcher and the pitcher. Every little move means something, or maybe it doesn't mean something to the hitter, and it can all be deception.
Baseball really is a game you never see. You just look for these little subtle hints. High. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Thurman says, well, all right, we'll try it again. So I'd like to have that one.
He wasn't shaking his head that time.
No.
Catfish Hunter.
That was for the man behind him.
He was not turning on Haller. He was letting his opinion be known. Catfish is retired 8 in a row.
Off the end of the bat. A nice play by Nettles. Here's the throw. Couldn't get him, and Yeager is safe. Had it been some play, Tony.
Oh, you bet. He does this regularly, Brett. That is not throw the ball wild like that, but he dives right and left so well. When you look where he started from, he was playing Yeager pretty close to the line. It was a breaking ball. Watch this play. How he ever got it, you'll never know. He rights himself, then throws a little bit of a sinker. Spencer got the in-between hop. He's an excellent fielding first baseman, but couldn't pick the ball out. It's a first base hit for the Dodgers. What a try by Greg Nettles. Wonder why he was voted the all-time great Yankee shortstop. It's one of the reasons.
Watching that replay, I'm always amazed that when you land like he did, why you wouldn't jar the ball loose when your elbows hit to be able to maintain control. But he did. Couldn't make the throw. Yeager is on. Here is Lopes. Takes it high. Ball 1. 2 men out. 2-0. Yankees out in front. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. First time up, Lopes fouled to the 3rd baseman, Yeager. They're playing behind him. He's no threat to run. It's popped up, maybe playable. Near the Yankee dugout, it is out of play.
I think a while ago in that replay, I said all-time Yankee shortstop. I guess I had in my mind that Greg Nettles is the 1 3rd baseman I think could play shortstop with his range.
Yeah, I bet he could, too.
He's one of those guys. Frank Malzone was that way from the Red Sox. Started out as a shortstop, but then somebody else came along, so they moved him to 3rd, but he could have stayed at short.
You know, he's still a little bit irritated about that play. He really takes a lot of pride in that 3rd base, Tony, doesn't he?
1-1 pitch. Low, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Greg might have had a little more time as we show you the play again, but he threw it from down under.
Lopes didn't think that was a strike, but Bill Heller said yes, it was. So it's 2-2 with 2 outs. 2-0. Yankees lead. Yeager lead at first base. Center field. Going back, Thomason. On the warning track. Makes the catch. Nice play by Gary Thomason in center field. That ends the inning for the Dodgers. They do not score. So at the end of 3, it's 2-0, the Yankees over the Dodgers. And for the Yankees in the 4th, Lou Piniella, Jim Spencer, and Brian Doyle. Send home. Expect to find that on a postcard. Very picturesque here at Dodger Stadium. A lot of cars, a lot of people, a lot of fans enjoying The second game of the 1978 World Series, and we have this creepy shot from way up there. It gives you a panoramic view of everything. 2-0. Yankees lead. We're in the top of the fourth. Hooten against Piniella.
There's Thomason making the last catch that inning off Davy Lopes. Davy Lopes showing more power to the opposite field, too. He usually pulls the ball with authority.
There was a good shot of a knuckle curveball. Did you see that thing break down? Well, how can they say a curveball is an optical illusion? I tell you, scientifically, I guess they say it, but well hit, but got under it. Baker has room, waiting. 1 out.
Piniella hit the ball real well in batting practice, Joe. Dusty Baker out in left field, and the first time up he hit that ball a long way out to right center field, and they're pretty deep, probably about 300 down the left field line.
Bert Hooten in command, as is Catfish Hunter. Hooten, a big guy, 200-pounder, 28 years old, born in Greenville, Texas, lives in Fullerton, California. Quite an athlete, this fella. Jim Spencer takes it inside, ball 1. Hooten attended the University of Texas, majoring in business. Outstanding pitching record, too, those 3 years, 35-3. I would say that's outstanding. That's popped up way up there, and Davy Lopes was going to wait for it. In fact, he looked away one time. That was about look at him. He's still unsure of it. That was about as high as you hit him. That's some reaction you just got. Did you ever feel that way, Tom?
Those are easy during the season, but there are pressures at World Series time. It's kind of that haze in the air, and it's not quite twilight, but you got partial light and partial dark, and that's the time of the day when the balls get way up there, sometimes above the lights, but you might lose it for a split second.
Brian Doyle hits the first pitch, base hit, right field. I tell you, in the defensive setup, Tony talked about Brian Doyle and used the word frightened, and we all understood, having gone through it. But he pecks and he gets a bat on that ball.
Well, everybody knows his brother Denny was a big league ball player. He's got a twin brother named Blake. And I asked him, are they here at the game? He said, no, they're opening a baseball school in Winter Haven, Florida. That's what they're doing right now. But you better believe they're watching.
Oh, are they ever? Here is Bucky Dent. He popped to the shortstop his first time up. 2 men out, 1 man on, 2-0. Yankees are leading the Dodgers in the fourth. Yeager, he was cocked. He was ready to throw. Bucky Dent came over from the White Sox. Hit that big home run against the Red Sox. There's the strike.
Bert Hooten's got a funny delivery at home plate all the way from the left side of that rubber and really arches that back. And look at that hand come over the top. I think I'd have a sore back at the end of the game if I pitch like that.
Bouncing ball to Russell. He's going to go to first in time. So Dent is out. Russell to Garvey. That ends the fourth inning. So as we go into the bottom half of the fourth inning, it's 2-0. The Yankees over the Dodgers. It'll be Bill Russell, Reggie Smith. Series, we look at Bill Russell. Strike 1. If there is no Game 5, additional regional games will be added to the schedule, but everybody's got to believe that I don't think either club can win 4 straight. That's the way I feel about it. And then the Bob Hope comedy special that night. We'll get some laughs. Base hit, left field. Bill Russell gets it started. So that brings up Reggie Smith. Smith popped in the second baseman. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Nobody out. Bill Russell at first. Reggie Smith. And there's starting to holler here. Reggie. Strike 1. Much like they do for Reggie Jackson in Yankee Stadium. We'll hear plenty of that on Friday night. Guidry against Sutton. That'll be a dandy. Bouncing ball. Nettles playing way over, and he had no chance, Tony.
That might be the toughest player, one of the toughest a second baseman can make. With Reggie, a pull hitter, Doyle was shaded over, as you said, Joe. He had a long way to run, but he circled it nicely. He went a little bit outside, came straight at Nettles, so he could make an accurate throw. Many times, a shortstop who is closer to bag will take the throw on that kind of play.
Boy, there was a lot of almost dance steps in there, shades of Edward Villela, who did that Baseball World show, how close the ballet and the shortstop and second baseman, how closely related. Here is Steve Garvey now. He flied to center field his first time up. One man out.
Notice, Tom, that Catfish was doing a little directing himself. He turned around to Thomason, and Thomason was over in right center field. He moved him over about straight away up the diamond, so he may want to go inside a little more with him. Went away.
Breaking ball for strike one. 2-0. The Yankees are leading. We're in the bottom of the fourth. Reggie Smith is on. Jim Spencer holding him close. Chambliss is out with an injury. One man out. Look at that target. Off the end of the bat.
He's right on that target, too, Joe. I think an important point here about Jim is that the way he pitched down the pennant drive and the pennant stretch during the American League Eastern Division, he really must have been super, and he's super tonight. Now, he's changing speeds, he's keeping the hitters off balance, and he's moving the ball in and out, and he's doing a fine job. Thurman's doing a fine job in directing him. He's really telling him where he wants the ball, if he wants it in, if he wants it out. He's really giving good direction to Catfish.
Popped up, right side. Everybody giving it a chase. Who's going to get it? No one. You know, you might take a look as we come in with our center field shot, how Munson, when he gives the sign, is almost looking at the batter. A lot of times a batter will kind of give you a sneak look back, try to get a little peek there. And Munson, he kind of checks that. He's checking everything.
Munson knows, because he's one of the guys that does it himself. Gold Glove winner, as you saw, those 3 years.
Watch him as he gives the sign if he does not look up at Garvey. See if he's looking at him. Nope, didn't do it that time. Outside again. Curveball. Pulls it foul.
That time he was looking at Reggie Smith. And Thurman, many times, will get something tipped off by a potential base stealer. Sometimes a guy on base will look at second base to make sure where it is. It's been there a long time, but that's the tip-off.
He just checked where he was standing. He's ready to throw. Fouled out of play. What you do, too, as far as somebody stealing signs, you check with your coaches at first and third. You protect your signs, as we look at Reggie Smith at first. From the third base coach with your gloves, you put on your left knee, and you don't want to open up too much with your right knee so that guy on first can get a peek at it. High. I tell you, there's a guy in this ballpark tonight that was about the best I ever saw, Pee Wee Reese. He not only had peripheral vision, he had it in stereo. He had 4 of them going, I believe. Quadraphonic. Out of play.
You know, Steve Garvey has fouled off about 3, 4, or 5 balls here, and he's really doing a fine job in fouling off the pitches that he really can't handle. They're good pitches by Catfish Hunter, and it's almost like a cat and mouse game, as we talked about before, waiting for Catfish to make a mistake, waiting for Catfish to put the ball in a zone where he can drive it. But he's fouling off the pitches that could be strikes, the ones that he can handle.
Do some pitchers get disgusted and fire and try to fire extra?
They should. That's a big mistake if a pitcher does try and do that, Joe, as you well know.
I know it is, but have you seen pitchers do it? I have.
Certainly. Oh, sure. A pitcher with a short temper or short attention span, they say, well, here, I'll just fire it right down the middle.
Hot smash. What a play by Nettles. Here's a throw. Take.
Well, the 2 men who went to the left and the right of Nettles were both safe, but it's worth the price of admission tonight to see him do this. He went in front of the shortstop one time, now almost to the foul line. Garvey showed a lot of hustle, just beating it out. But what a glove that man has.
Oh, to make that play so close. John Kibler was the umpire at first base right on top of it. Tremendous play, Tom.
You guys have talked about it all year. I hear Tony talking about Greg Nettles, and of course I played with him a long time ago, even before we got into professional baseball. One of the things I miss is not seeing some of these guys in the American League. He has really amazed me with some of the plays he's made just in 2 games of the World Series.
So it's base runners now at first and second, 1 man out, 2-0 with Ron Cey, the batter. That's certainly reminiscent what Nettles did of Brooks Robinson when he held that clinic in Baltimore during the World Series on how to play third. Ball. Reggie Smith at second. Garvey's at first. 1 man out, 2-0. Yankees lead. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Cey bounced out his first time up. Pulls it foul. 1-1 the count.
Very patient hitter, Ronnie Cey. He might have gone up. And that's the way Hunter pitches. When he gives you something inside, it's inside off the plate. He just wants to show it to you. And for Cey to hit that ball hard, he had to pull it foul. Either that, he would have gotten jammed. And that's Hunter's style of pitching. This guy is a great situation hitter. He may be one of the most patient dodgers, Ron Cey. Good RBI man.
Base hit, center field. Here comes Reggie Smith around third. Garvey will stop at second. It's 2-1 Yankees. There you see Reggie Smith. He has scored the first run for the Dodgers. Ron Cey at first. 1 man out. And Dusty Baker is the hitter. Dusty had a big night last night. He was 3 for 4 with a big home run. His first time up tonight, he flied to right. Ball 1. Yankees scored their 2 runs in the 3rd. The Dodgers have come back with 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. With 1 out, base runners at first and second, and it's ball 2.
You made the point last night, Joe, about Dusty Baker not hitting the ball well at the end of the season. You take a look at Steve Garvey and Ronnie Cey. Dusty was not swinging the bat well when he came into Cincinnati. He went to, for the last series, went to San Diego. Jim Lefebvre moved his hands back a little bit where he could get some extension of the ball. He just seemed to be pulling everything over in the, like almost into the third base dugout. He moved his hands back away from his right shoulder. Strike. You won't believe this. Another thing he did too, Tony, right before the playoffs, he lives down near Van Nuys someplace. He went to a public batting cage and hit for 2 hours at a public batting cage.
Takes it low, 3 balls and 1 strike. Dusty Baker, who was the 25th round draft choice by Atlanta. You talk about determination. He was not exactly a household name when he was the 25th round draft choice.
Hunter's not been behind too many hitters like this in this ball game.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Base runners at first and second. Yankees 2, Dodgers 1, bottom of the 4th. There is Garvey at second, Cey at first.
What a pitch, 3-1. Slow curveball.
There they go. It's fouled off.
Much like they did last night, they're going to have a running game. I think they're going to test Thurman. They're going to show the Yankees that they're going to run on those bases. Steve Garvey at second, Ron Cey at first.
Garvey had a good jump. Cey was trailing the play. And I've seen it happen as we look at Lasorda, Bob Lemon of the Yankees, where the catcher sometimes will throw to second base and get that guy who thinks, well, they're not going to throw down here, so I'll just kind of mosey in. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Dusty Baker. Runners lead. They're going. Bouncing ball to Nettles. Tags him over to first. It is a double play. Nettles tagged Garvey. Pulley motion out. Fired to first. A double play. So that ends the inning. Yankees 2, Dodgers 1 at the end of 4. And it'll be Roy White. Furnished by Major League Baseball.
You know, Tony, you've talked about Greg Nettles, as I said before. He made 3 super plays already in this game. They're tagging Steve Garvey and on to first base for the double play.
He does it all the time.
He's an incredible third baseman. He's really impressed me in just the 2 games that I've seen him here.
When you see him, Tom, day after day, we saw the Yankees a lot near the end of the season on our game of the week. They become routine. Cover so much ground, the diving and jumping up. Well, we got a heck of a pitcher's duel. Hooton versus Catfish Hunter. 5th inning, it's Roy White, Gary Thomason, Thurman Munson. Yankees 2, the Dodgers 1. Yankees with 6 hits, the Dodgers with 4. 1 strike on the breaking ball. Curt Gowdy, as you know, throughout the telecast, pregame show, during the game, if we have time, maybe even after the game, down in the field with a different perspective. He may have a special guest for you when we have a chance. 1 ball, 1 strike to White. Two and 1. Roy White ahead on the count of Bert Hooton. There he is. World Series record in 77 last year against the Yankees. 1 win, 1 loss. White chops it foul to Gene Michaels. The stick. You will see a lot of changing of baseballs. Whenever a ball hits in the dirt in this ballpark, or chopped as it was foul, the hitters will request the ball be changed. A few years back, they changed from the tougher horsehide cover to that cowhide. Doesn't seem to be as durable. Scuffs up a little bit more. 2-2 pitch to White. 3-2.
Also in this park, Tony, that area down there in front of home plate, as we mentioned last night, a lot of clay and a lot of crushed brick down there, and the balls will get very obvious red spots on them.
White hits the 3-2 pitch high to short center field. Russell waves Lopes off. 1 out. Well, right now, a different perspective. Curt Gowdy down on the field.
And the perspective, Tony, from the commissioner's office, Bowie Kuhn. Bowie, the slogan of baseball this year was baseball fever in '78, and there was a fever, wasn't it?
Kurt, I think there was a great fever in baseball this year among the fans, a very healthy thing for our game. We saw 40 million people drawn in Major League Baseball. Both leagues went over 20 million. You know, it used to be a club drew 1 million. I thought that was great. The average Major League club today draws 1,600,000 people. So, yeah, I think the fever was there.
Quick one, you're in charge of the World Series. What's the worst problem that could happen to you?
Oh, you worry about weather more than anything else. You worry about rain, such as we had in Boston a couple of years ago. Weather, I think, is the worst thing you're concerned with.
Thank you, Commissioner Kuhn. And now back to Tony Kubek.
All right, thank you, Curt Gowdy. Commissioner Kuhn. 2 strikes to count on Gary Thomason. Well, the weather in New York today, they tell us, was clear at about 70 degrees. A perfect fall day. We hope it sticks when we get there. For game number 3. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Thomason with 1 out. The Yankees 2, the Dodgers 1. We're in the 5th. Chop, but it goes foul. Count will stay 1-2. There it goes again. They want to look at the ball. So John Kibler, the first base umpire, inspects it, flips it out.
Tony, we're getting some great shots here, and I appreciate this one, but the shot we had when you guys were talking about the ball being scuffed up, there was a subliminal message there, because the player standing on the rail was Don Sutton, who was professor of the scuffed up balls.
Chopper by Thomason. Garvey to Hooton, out number 2. Good knuckle curveball again. Had Thomason driving it in the dirt. They bring up Thurman Munson, who was doubled. He's also walked and scored a run, which looms as a big run, as the Yankees now lead 2-1 over the Dodgers.
Tony, both pitchers pitching extremely well. Catfish Hunter and Bert Hooton. Both of them keeping ahead of the hitters. Last night you saw Ed Figueroa come out, continually be behind the Dodger hitters and get crunched. He got crunched last night. Tonight, Bert Hooton ahead of his hitters, getting good pitches, moving the ball in, moving the ball out, and keeping it down. Catfish Hunter's doing the same type of thing.
1 strike to Thurman. The Yankees score their 2 runs in the 3rd inning when after 1 out, that was Dent. White single, Thompson flied out, Munson walks, and Reggie Jackson hit one in the right field corner, and Munson kept on coming for the Yankees 2. Hit, but foul. Hit it very hard, but kept on hooking. So Hooton way ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. You know, those balls are given away to those fans. This is the 75th anniversary ball. They would have been using a National League ball in this park, as Joe and Curt told you yesterday. That has emblazoned on the ball a 75th anniversary seal. There are not too many of those around.
You know, Tony, I would think that, thinking about Thurman, how about, you got stitches in his finger and had stitches in his chin, and he's got pulled this and a hurt knee and that and stuff. And certain guys are extremely durable. Other guys.
What a pitch. It was strike 3 as a knuckle curve in the dirt. Munson swung at it, but the ball got by Yeager. Yeager had no chance on it, so Munson's on with 2 outs. What a hellacious knuckle curveball.
Knuckle curveball, and Thurman on strike 3. Yeager had absolutely no chance at it whatsoever. Of course, the batter in this situation, there's strike 3, and the tries to check swing. He's on base for sure.
You think Lightning's going to strike with, remember Mickey on, Tommy Henrich, and the Yankees really went on and scored a bunch of runs? That's the first thing that flashes in your mind.
That's something to get a strikeout and get charged with a wild pitch, but that's what happened. So now it's Reggie Jackson, a strikeout, and a big base hit driving home 2, the only 2 Yankee runs. There are 2 outs. We're in the 5th. Look out, Reggie. He came inside to brush him back. Jackson hangs tight in the batter's box.
Fastball up and in, Tony. At this situation, the pitcher is not trying to hit the batter. They're trying to move the hitter back off the plate. You certainly don't want to put another runner down in scoring position.
Once Reggie plants those feet, he stays pretty well planted. He was hit by pitches 9 times during the regular season. That led the Yankee ball club. So now he's down at first base talking to Gene Michaels, the first base coach. Munson moves to second with 2 outs. And it brings up Greg Nettles, who's put on quite a defensive show so far today with 3 outstanding plays. But at the bat, he's grounded out and he's struck out. Strike to Greg. Look at the ball.
That always knocks me out. The catcher gets hit with a foul tip, and the umpire looks at the ball. Is the ball hurt? How do you feel, ball? Oh, you're all right? Okay. Oh, the dummy behind the plate? Well, I won't worry about him later.
Nettles, when he was with the Minnesota Twins, came up as a third baseman, but they moved him to the outfield. The reason why, they had Harmon Killebrew there, who was hitting about 40 home runs a year. 1 strike, 2 outs. Might have been a straight change, 0-2. Talking about Reggie Jackson getting hit by that pitch as we look at Munson at second. Reggie's down at first base. There's your line score. Don Baylor led the American League hit by pitch with 18. Reggie Jackson and Ron Jackson. They're tied at 9 for second. 0-2 pitch. Will he go after him? He did. He went far enough. So Newton makes a tough pitch on Nettles to retire the side. The Yankees now lead as we go to the last to the 5th. 2-1 over the Dodgers. Coming up, Rick Monday, Lee Lacy, and all right, last of the 5th. Rick Monday. 2-1. The Yankees lead over the Dodgers. The Yankees with 6 hits. The Dodgers 4. No errors in the ball game. It's Joe Garagiola, Tom Siebert, Kurt Gowdy from a different perspective down in the field. Tony Kubek along with them. 1 strike on Rick Monday. Monday struck out in the 3rd. He moves him back 1-1. Hunter has not yet walked the Dodger hitter. He has struck out 1. Good change of speeds. Good curveball. Had Monday way out in front. Hunter almost missed the bag when he came over to tag it, but they did retire Monday.
Just nicked the bag as they went by, and a good play from Jim Spencer. There's the ball to Spencer. One of the pitcher's principal responsibilities after he delivers the ball is get over to first base. The umpire in right in position saw him kick the top of the bag. He almost missed it, but he got it. Jim, a very good fielder. As I talked about him before, an extremely aggressive pitcher, very confident pitcher. Bounces off that well, and a very good fielder after he delivers the ball.
And now it's Lee Lacy, the number 8 hitter in the lineup, the designated hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. Hunter not only is a good pitcher and a good fielder, but one time he was a good hitter. Lacy pops it up. Doyle should have an easy play. 2 outs. In fact, the perfect game that we talked about that he pitched against the Twins in 1968, Catfish Hunter drove in the winning run. He was paid extra money for being a pinch hitter by Charlie Finley. Steve Yeager. Hunter with exceptional control today. They pressured him in the 4th inning when the Dodgers scored their only run. His control record over a lifetime. There's Steve Yeager. What he did in the series last year, not known as a hitter, but he had a good RBI series last season. Hunter's control over the career, he averaged walking per 9 innings about 2.5 per ball game, and that is outstanding, as many innings as he pitches. 1 strike on Yeager. He doesn't strike out many in recent seasons. Hunter has averaged just under 4 per 9-inning game. Yeager got the first base hit off Hunter. That was back in the 3rd when Nettles dove for a ball and then threw a little bit wildly to first base. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Last to the 5th. The Yankees lead over the Dodgers 2-1. Quite a pitched ball game by both Catfish Hunter and Bert Hooton of the Dodgers.
Watch Catfish get ready here, Jim. He just gets the ball back on the rubber. He's ready. Now he's going to go up there. He's going to wait for the hitter to get in. He's ready to go. Look at his eyes. He really is has tremendous concentration.
Roll the string again and pulled away foul by Yeager. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Big crowd capacity once again. Right now we're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
2 outs in Dodger Stadium. Hunter pitching to Yeager. 2-2 count. Good slider. Down and away. Bad pitch. So Hunter sends the Dodgers down. 3 up, 3 down in the 5th. The score, the Yankees lead over the Dodgers 2-1 as we go to the 6th. And coming up for the Yankees, it'll be Lou Piniella, Jim Spencer.
There is Joe Lasorda, Tommy's wife, Mrs. Lasorda, of course. Joe's listening to the radio. And there he is. He's a piece of architecture, this guy.
Does he draw a crowd? The man he reminds me most of, and you played for him and I did. Whenever Casey Stengel went to the ballpark, there were cameras, lights, tape recorders, writers, and Lasorda is the same way. He can really draw. Lou Piniella, Jim Spencer, Brian Doyle in the 6th inning to face Bert Hooton. One heck of a ball game. The Yankees 2, the Dodgers 1. We're in the 6th. Piniella has hit the ball hard twice. One deep to right field, one deep to left. He's led this Yankee ball club in hitting the last 2 years, average-wise. Pulled foul, a knuckle curve. 1 strike. Piniella is an excellent fastball hitter, but he can also hit the breaking ball when he's looking for it. He's one of these guys, and both teams have them, situation hitters. They'll watch a pitcher, they'll study him. Ground ball could be a tough play. Russell cannot find a handle, but I doubt if he would have thrown Piniella out anyway. Would have had to be an excellent throw by Russell to get him, so Pinella's on.
Billy had to go deep in the hole on this. It was another knuckle curve. Lou hit a fastball, and the first time up all the way out to right field. Billy went deep in the hole, and even if he had come up clean to that ball, there's no way he'd get the runner at first base.
So the Yankees get the leadoff hitter on, Piniella in the 6th. There's Russell, and he showed you a lot of range. Yes, he does make some errors and erratic throws at time, but he goes well in either direction. Jim Spencer, Piniella being held by Garvey. That'll give Spencer, the left-hand hitter, a big hole between Lopes and Garvey. Spencer really has DH'd when most of the times he's played this year. He really played 4 games starting at first base. Jammed him in foul territory. Say should have a play. Piniella going back to tag up. Say gets it in front of the dugout. There's 1 out. They bring up Brian Doyle.
Second base, Brian Doyle.
Ron Say is very sure-handed. He doesn't cover the ground that Nettles does. Few do. But if he can get to a ball, he doesn't miss it. And his arm is strong and very accurate.
Got a good chance to see a play here, Tony, to stay away from that double play because Brian Doyle can handle that bat. He's really giving Dick Hauser a good look. Whenever a fella is not playing every day, you really study the way he takes signals from the third base coach.
Well, he's flied out, and he got his first World Series base hit in the 4th. Ground ball, Lopes left. He might get run. He bobbles the ball, could not get the lead runner, and he does get Doyle. So with 2 outs, the Yankees have another man in scoring position.
We saw it last night, Tony. We saw the Dodgers. They had very good offense, good pitching. an error by Lopes and an error by Russell. And here again, Davey almost makes an error in that play.
Davey started to pivot completely around to get the lead runner. When he did, he might have left the ball a little too soon. Then he had to settle for the out at first base. So bring up Bucky Dent with 2 outs. Pinella's at second. 2-1. The Yankees lead over the Dodgers. We're in the 6th. Houghton missed high with a knuckle curve. I think an interesting story how he came about the knuckle curve. There's nobody else in baseball that I know throws it. But he read an article, I believe Sports Illustrated, on Hoyt Wilhelm, the knuckleball pitcher. Saw the pictures of it, and he threw it all wrong. He actually puts his knuckles on the ball. The real knuckleball pitchers, really, most of them dig their fingernails into the ball. It is an action that really there's not much strain on a pitcher's arm. You snap the curveball off, you can, well, the elbow and the shoulder can have a lot of stress, but this one is just those 2 fingers that must be awfully strong. 3 balls, no strikes to Bucky Dent. Bert Houghton's wife watching very intently as Bert goes 3-0 with 2 outs on Dent, the man in scoring position.
Pitcher definitely doesn't want to get in this situation, Tony, when you're down to pitching to the 9th man in the order and you run to 3-0 and 3-1. If you walk him, you got a left-hander coming up.
Oh, close pitch, but it's not 3-2.
He's come back good and even, got the count even for himself, saying that 1 pitch either way, and he definitely does not want to walk Bucky Dent and pitch to Roy White.
So it's 3-2, 2 outs. Pinella at second. Houghton looking for another big pitch to get Bucky Dent on 3-2. He went breaking ball 3-2. Fouled out of play. Everybody talks about scouting reports, Tom, and what they mean. I thought Houghton and Hunter both had excellent theories. They say, yes, we look at them. But Houghton is so confident. He took the positive vein, which is always the best. He said, the odds are with the pitcher. The one who needs the briefing are the batters. He said, I'm going to pitch my ball game. There's no sense changing now, and I've been successful all year. Fouled off again.
How much faith did you put in these scouting reports, Tom?
When I got into a series, when I didn't know the hitters that I was going to be seeing, Joe, I looked for what the hitter's biggest strength was, and I wanted to know what his weakness was. But for the most part, you applied your strengths to those 2 aspects that a hitter has when he goes into the batter's box.
And he checked. Hey, an appeal to first base umpire, John Kibler. And Kibler says, yes, he did go far enough around. Dent is upset, but they leave Pinella stranded. We go to the last of the 6th. There you see the play. Dent goes after it. That is the toughest call for any umpire, and Haller did the wise thing. He asked for Kibler. We'll go to the last of the 6th. The Yankees still lead over the Dodgers, 2-1. You can see the disgust on Bucky Dent as the man was in scoring position. There are the men coming up. Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, Reggie Smith. Now with Davey Lopes leading it off. Start to stir just a little. Hunter's first pitch. Drills it by Greg Dennis, so Davey Lopes is on for the Dodgers to lead off the 6th. Hunter, he's even backing up that play, backing up the throw-in from the outfield.
That Davey Lopes is a first ball hitter. It might be the best first ball hitter in the league.
That was a breaking ball. Might have been a slider. Wasn't a fastball.
Just what you were talking to about in the pregame interview, Tom, about looking for pitches. What do you do? He knows what he wants to do before he walks into that batter's box.
The hitter might walk up to home plate, look for a ball from the middle half in. He might walk up and look for a ball from the middle of the plate out. Makes up his mind. Many hitters will make up their mind before they get up there.
All right. Hunter knows Davey Lopes stole 45 bases during the regular season, was caught just 4 times. Russell up there might be taking some pitches, but he might jump all over Catfish too. Squared around a bunt, but it was a below breaking ball. 1 ball to Russell. I'll tell you one thing, that puts a first baseman in a very vulnerable position, because if he leaves too soon, an attempted bunt, Lopes might get that extra edge. He has a big lead off first base. Popped up in the air. Is he going to trap it? Couldn't. I think he had ideas, but he could not trap it because it was foul. Jim Spencer, very alert. We've seen him trap the ball and double men up.
Right fielder, Reggie Smith.
Watch how he bunts it. He just bunted up. That was not a good attempt. I remember that great description about to bunt the ball, it's like catching the ball with the bat. You just deaden it. It sounds so simple, but it is a tough play, and many times that bunt will do the job of a 3-base hit. And right here, it's put the Dodgers in a bit of a jackpot.
So now with 1 out, it's Reggie Smith. Lopes at first. The Dodgers trail by a run. Hunter with a pretty quick move to first base. He also delivers pretty quickly to home plate, which might give Munson a little more chance if Lopes is gone. He's holding. Fouled off. With Smith up, the left-handed hitter, they might think twice to send Davey to keep that hole open. You can see Spencer holding him on. But you never know with Lasorda nor the Dodgers.
Another thought here, Tony, that's going through Catfish's mind. He knows he's got a guy at first base that can run well, Davey Lopes. He's got to think he's got to get the ball to home plate fast, quickly. Reggie Smith now is up there. I'm going to see more fastballs because I got a guy at first that can run. So I'm going to get a fastball maybe in a situation.
I'm not sure. Munson is one of these catchers who does not really care that much about the base stealer. He would rather have the pitcher concentrate on the hitter. So he's not going to let up even though Lopes steals. Drilled in the right field. So Smith has a base hit. Lopes is charging for third base. The Dodgers are first and third and 1 out. And the crowd is reacting. He had a breaking pitch. Bring up Garvey. Reggie Smith is playing this season in a weakened condition. They're giving him a hand from K-Set. No fans here in Dodger Stadium. Hunter had a tough inning in the 4th when the Dodgers scored their only run. They left 2 stranded. He's back in trouble again with 1 out. Runners on first and third. And Garvey was flied out and singled up. Oh, he had a high breaking ball.
Look out, look out, look out.
Right above our cameraman, Mario, you should have had that play. Reggie Smith at first, held by Spencer. Garvey, one of the toughest clutch hitters in all of baseball, and he's facing a man who's been in this situation many times before, the Cat, Jim Hunter. 1 strike. He went after a bad one. Sweep, looked like he dropped down a little bit. It was more of a sweeping curveball to Garvey, but he's got him in the hole 0-2.
If Steve does have a weakness, Tony, it will be going after the low breaking ball. He'll chase the bad low breaking ball.
See what he does. Another breaking ball, chop foul.
I think that was a mistake by Hunter. He didn't want it right there because that ball, when he missed towards the batter. If you've got your target on the outside part of the plate and you're going to miss, you better miss away so he can't handle it. He got away with one right there, Tom.
Davey Lopes at third base for the Dodgers. Smith being held at first. There's 1 out, 2-1. The Yankees over the Dodgers. Breaking ball popped up. Munson should have a play. Somebody's coming home. They all better be. Munson's got it, 2 down. So they get Garvey. And Hunter was right there in case somebody Lopes with his great speed and daring might have tried to score. So they're 2 down. And it's Ron Cey, another tough RBI there.
Tony, I thought that Reggie Smith might try for second where it would have placed Munson in a dilemma. That was an Eddie Stanky play. What do you do now?
That's why Munson got the ball back. Watch how quickly he gets the ball back to the plate. The Catfish Hunter. He throws it to Hunter and he says, okay, Reggie, now go. We've only got half the distance to go to second base.
What do you do if the guy breaks at first base? If you haven't thought that play out, you could really be in big, big trouble because that fellow on third's watching all this, and Davey Lopes could certainly take advantage of it.
Your ball. Now there's Lopes at third with a lot of speed. 2 outs. Way inside. He moves Cey back. Hunter has had one of the most impressive records of pitchers in recent years. He's had a perfect game. He told you about that. A run average title in 73. Cy Young Award in 74. 5 20-win seasons in a row, 1971 through 75, and he also completed 30 ball games for the Yankees in 1975. He's been worth every penny the Yankees have paid for him. Big pitch, 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0, Ron Cey way ahead. Whoa, watch it, baby. You gotta see that ball over the head of Catfish Hunter. Brian Doyle was backing up the play, as most good infielders will. One of those plays where it never happened, but the one time it does with a man on third, you're done. Save, 2-0 pitch. He changed up. Did he get enough of it? Left center field, right back. Hold on,
pitches when he was throwing to Garvey. He got pitches up in the strike zone, and here he throws a hanging slider. Hits that ball all the way out to the left field bleachers. There's Davy Lopes. He knows it's gone. Nettles, of course, like last night, he knows it's gone.
They want Ronnie Say to come out of the dugout. He's already done that. He took a bow. A dramatic home run by Ron Say to give the Dodgers the lead, 4-2. A 2-0 pitch with 2 outs. Second series home run. He hit one against Hunter last year. Fouled off out of play by Dusty Baker. Ron Say. He seems at the end of each year, he has some hot streaks, cold streaks. There's your score, your line score for the second game of the 1978 World Series. But Say seems to end up near 100 RBIs every year. He'll have the cold streak, but they get red hot. He did that in September. 1-1 now to Dusty Baker. 2-1. Gossage has been throwing in the bullpen for the Yankees. There's Bob Lemon, a Hall of Famer. Breaking ball hit deep to left field again. He might have got under it as it goes over to the stands, but White has a play. So that's 3 outs. Everybody stood on the field kind of stunned for a while, and almost messed up. But the Dodgers now have the lead as we go to the 7th. 4-2 the Dodgers. 2 up. Roy White, Gary Thomason, and Thurman Munson for the Yankees. And we'll be back after these.
Kubek, Tom Seaver, and Kirk Gowdy. You like that, huh, Tony? Anybody paint his hair like that? Everybody wondered where the NBC Peacock went. He's here watching the second game of the World Series.
It's like Clown Alley at the circus.
The Yankees on a Dodgers on a big blast by Ron Say have taken the lead. This crowd really buzzing now. There's Roy White, takes a pitch outside, ball 1. Yankees had 2 runs in that 3rd inning. Catfish Hunter going right along. Ron Say. White takes it low. Tom, you were talking about how he was getting that ball up.
I think he got away with a couple pitches there last inning before he made that one fatal mistake that really hurts him. Catfish, of course, does give up a lot of home runs.
1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nobody out, nobody on. Roy White takes it high. White lined to right. He singled and scored. That was in the 3rd inning. And then he popped to the second baseman. Time called. Don't see anything on the field. Dodgers have some action in their bullpen. 3-1 pitch. Hits the strike. The left-hander is Forster. The right-hander is Roden. Hooten. 3-2 pitch to Roy White. A little looper. That's a pretty good piece of hitting right there. He handled a very tough pitch inside and went to the opposite field.
That's the toughest one, the one inside and up. You can kind of get the bat head trailing and get your hands out in front, but the one down and in, which is what that looked like, that's almost impossible at times to hit to the opposite field, but White does it, Tommy.
You know, he's one of the unsung heroes. He got a base hit up there last time, and here it is, 3-2, and that's a tough pitch to hit. Look at that. That pitch is down. That's almost out of the strike zone, and he flares it off to left field.
Do you think he had his mind made up that he was going that way all the way?
He's just trying to get a piece of it, hit it somewhere. Just trying to wait as long as he could before he committed himself.
He's leading off the inning, and he knows his job's to get on base, not to hit, not to hit a home run double or whatever. As Tommy Lasorda's on his way to the mound now, checking on Bert Hooten.
Sometimes the pitcher will tell the manager while he's in the dugout, hey, I'm a little bit tired. Watch me if they start something. You've done that, I'm sure, Tom.
That's exactly correct. Many times in a long inning, let's say on a cool night, a pitcher might have a tendency to stiffen up. You call the manager out and say, listen, I can't get loose or whatever. Take me out of here. Give me some help.
You mentioned, Tom, yesterday, the league you played in Alaska. Bert Hooten played up there. He played for the Boulder Collegians, pitched against Chambliss, who was with the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. There's some pretty good players came out of that league, that summer league. Some pretty good names. Isn't that something?
There are a lot of players that have played up in that league. A lot of guys in the big leagues right here that have played in Major League Baseball.
You're seeing something pretty interesting now. Lasorda is stalling for time, and what he does a lot of times, he did it to McSherry. He said things like, John, you're an umpire. Now, hitter coming up, Paul Blair. Blair will be batting for Thomason. We've got nobody out. Roy White is on at first base. And Paul Blair against Terry Forster, who came in last night. Hard throwing left-hander. 4-2, Dodgers lead the Yankees. Game 2. Well hit, left center field. Over fast Monday. Can't get it. It bounces into the stands. It's a two-base hit for Paul Blair, and Roy White will stop at third.
That's a break, too, because Roy White was standing on second base. If that ball rattled around the fence and not bounced in, chances are he would have scored. Here's Rick Monday, who got a good job, but the ball is just out of his reach, as you'll see. Missed it by a hair, and right there it bounces in. White might have scored, Tommy.
Rick Monday's got tremendous range in center field, very good speed. Another great angle from another camera we have here with NBC. And it was a lucky break. That ball did bounce over. The Yankees would be just one run down at this point.
So Thurman Munson is the batter now with base runners at second and third. The tying runs are on. 4-2 is the score. Nobody out. Munson, who doubled in the first inning, walked and scored, and then struck out, but the ball got by Yeager, and he was safe at first. A wild pitch being charged to Hoot. Strike one. You know that Paul Blair left that bench saying, this guy, he's not going to try to finesse me. He's going to try to blow it by him, and he jumped on that first pitch.
Munson's the best hitter on this club for getting a man in from third base with less than 2 outs.
Strike on that outside corner. Munson doesn't believe it, and he's going to go back and regroup. And he'll start talking to himself. Now, that was not a good pitch. I don't care what he says, but I'm not going to get mad. I'm going to wait for a good pitch.
Dodgers are conceding the run, especially at short at second. Say might come home, maybe Garvey, but short and second, they're going to give it to him.
2 strikes, nobody out. Tying runs are on. White's at third, Blair's at second. Struck him out. Big strikeout.
Thurman's having a big discussion with Haller on one call pitch. This one is out of the strike zone. A tough fastball that really took off on Thurman. Thurman did not have the big home run nor RBI this year, and most of the time was because of the injury to his shoulder, assorted other injuries, a knee. He's been disappointed with his year, but he's played right through it all.
Now he got it going. Reggie Jackson is the batter, a good fastball hitter against Forster, a good fastball pitcher. 1 man out. White's at third, Blair's at second. 4-2, Dodgers in front. Jackson struck out, doubled, and is hit by a pitch ball. Jammed in, got it by him, strike one.
Joe, I was talking to Red Adams, the Dodger pitching coach, and he said he would be reluctant. He didn't think that Forster would be able to pitch tonight because of that problem that he's had with his elbow. He has a very tender elbow that Tony talked about last night, and he needs kind of a day's rest. And Red Adams preferred not to use Forster tonight if he could get away with it.
He's out there. He pitched an inning in the third yesterday. No runs, no hits. Struck out 3. This is his second World Series game, Forster, as we look at White at third, Blair at second.
I think what illustrates your point is the Dodgers stat sheet on the season. He just pitched 65 in the third innings. He wasn't used too many times when he came back after a hard day the day before.
1-1 pitch. High and tight. 2 balls and 1 strike.
There's Reggie, the guy that got hit in the hand last time up there. You see a little tape on his right arm. Had to get away from another one. Didn't miss him by very much.
He doesn't give in. You're a good hitter. You just do not give in. 2-1 pitch. Whoops. Sorta. Preston Gomez. It's a 4-3 ball game. Give Jackson an RBI.
Third baseman, Greg Nettles.
Paul Blair's at third. Talking to Dick Hauser.
That man's got some big hits in postseason play. Last year against Kansas City, got an awful big hit in the last game.
Here is Nettles. Nettles bounced out in the second inning, struck out in the third, struck out in the fifth. He has put on a defensive show tonight. So far, hitless. Yeager takes another one off the left foot. And there goes another dance book. He'll not use it.
Hooten gave Nettles a series of knuckle curveballs. Forster a fastball pitcher. That looked like the slider. There it goes down off of Yeager's foot or his instep. And this could be a good match right here. Nettles is a dead fastball hitter, and he's going to get some heat from Terry Forster.
Heat, that's the new one. I heard a real good one. Paint the black with low gas. It used to be a low fastball. Here he comes. Good fastball and a strike two. He's strength against strength now, just as you said, Tom.
And they'll go up there looking for change of speed pitches out of this guy. He's strictly power. One of the hardest sliders in the business.
Struck him out. Greg Nettles is out on strike, so Forster comes in, gets 2 strikeouts, a ground out. That ends the 7th inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Dodgers 4, Yankees 3. It'll be Rick Monday, Lee Lacy, and Yeager for the Dodgers. In relief, it's a 4-3 ball game. And got a note here that Paul Blair's mother is in the ballpark. A couple of our good friends, and I know baseball fans, wishing him well. Fred Flagg, many years National League official in the hospital. Norm Sherry, recuperated from open heart surgery. Wish him well. And talking to Bernie Tebbetts today, Hal Trotsky he took a bad bounce, a little bit of a setback, and he's come back strong. Great Cleveland player. So we're glad they're watching. We're glad you're here, and we've got ourselves a dandy. 4-3. Dodgers lead, bottom of the 7th, and here is Rick Monday. Gossage. Outside, ball 1. Between Gossage and Forster, the catchers can break in a new glove in 2 innings. Hard throwers. Line foul.
Gossage has had that fastball time, and many times speed isn't the greatest indicator, but he's somewhere 95, 96 miles an hour pretty consistently. Has a very hard slider. Munson just goes with the fastball most of the time.
2 balls and 1 strike. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 7th, game 2. We travel to New York Friday night. Ron Guidry for the Yankees. Don Sutton for the Dodgers. That's how to play. Big weekend on NBC. Sports fans going to have a field day. World Series games, NFL football, the Bob Hope comedy special.
Tom's up here chuckling. Anytime he sees a hard thrower like he is too, get the ball in the kitchen like he just did, he's got to have a little smile.
Doyle to his right. In time, Monday is out.
It's a faint little smile to my heart.
We understand that we had a power blackout in the northwest area, so we're going to re-show the Ron Cey home run, especially for our good friends there. And, you know, Ronnie was born in Tacoma. Here's that big home run. A 3-run blast.
Lee Lacy just lined out to third base there. Another fine play by Greg Nettles at third.
So there are 2 outs. It brings up Steve Yeager. Gossage, his first series game. 1978. Brother, was he a workhorse. 63 games, 110, lost 11, 2.01 earned run average, 27 saves, which led the American League.
Does he throw hard? Well, this might tell you something. 134 in a 3rd innings pitch. He struck out 122.
Yeager doesn't get it. It's like breaking balls.
Fastball might have sunk a little bit. I don't think he really turns it over, but the ball really looked like it dipped a little.
Taylor sinking fastball.
That's a fastball. 2 strikes, 1 ball to count on Yeager.
I think that Goose has got 3 pitches. Hard, harder, and hardest.
That's it.
1-2 pitch. Tapped in front of the plate. Munson out. Makes the play. Yeager is out. Munson to Spencer. It's 1-2-3 for the Dodgers. So we complete 7 innings. The score, Los Angeles 4 and the Yankees 3. 2. Last night it was 55,997. And I was hoping the 3 guys would show up. 15 didn't, so we didn't make it. There's Billy North, who's going to play in center field, replacing Rick Monday. 26th time over 50,000 people this season here in Los Angeles. Piniella taps one foul on the third base line. One strike to count. 4-3 the score. Dodgers lead 8th inning. Nobody out. Inning just getting started. Friday night, you'll see Guidry against Sutton, Game 3, right here on NBC, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Forster against Gossage, the matchup right now. It was Hunter. And Hooten. Oh, did he saw one off?
Nasty. Known as a nasty pitch in the dugout. We talked about Forster's sore arm a little bit, how he can get a tender elbow. You watch from this back camera here as he delivers the ball, his right leg as he strides toward home plate be very stiff, and his arm comes around. It's almost like a bullwhip, and there's a snapping or popping action. There's a lot of pressure, of course, going into the elbow.
Fouled off right into the Yankee dugout.
Aside from that, Tom, that stiff leg that he has, you can notice he throws across his body, which has to put a little more strain on the pitcher's arm, too. Steps toward the first base foul line and has to really work a couple extra feet or so to get that arm in the throwing position.
Goes across his body the same way that Catfish Hunter does, and Catfish, of course, has had some history of shoulder trouble, too.
There's a line drive right center field, drops for a base hit, and Piniella, the tying run is on. So Piniella gets his second base hit.
Jim Spencer.
You can see Forster as he delivers the ball, the stiff front leg and the real snapping motion. Now, he's worked 2 nights in a row, and I must reiterate about what I said with Red Adams, that he would rather not see Forster pitch tonight because of that tender elbow. Many times coming back the second night in a row, he's not as effective.
So Spencer is the batter, and we've got Cliff Johnson in the on-deck circle for the Yankees. There's his strike. Spencer, who has replaced the injured Chambliss. Yankees have Chambliss out. They have Mickey Rivers out, and Willie Randolph will not be eligible.
Chambliss hurt that right hand. The first pitch he swung at in the championship series against Kansas City. Might have pulled a tendon.
He threw it so hard, Spencer didn't know where that ball was after he bunted it. A lot of former White Sox in action right now. Gossage, relief for the Yankees, Forster, and Spencer. 2 strikes to count. Nobody out. The tying run is on at first base. Lou Piniella. 4-3 is the score. Dodgers leading. Simple enough. Curveball. One ball, 2 strikes.
What about White Sox players? Bucky Dent, too. In fact, that was a Reggie Jackson comment after Bucky hit that 3-run home run up in Fenway. He said, "We want to thank Bill Veeck for helping us along."
2 balls and 2 strikes. Tom, he's got a pitch of decision right here. He's got to make it happen on the 2-2 count. He doesn't want to go to 3-2.
Well, that's definitely putting a pitcher in a hole when you go to 3-2. Gives the Yankees a lot of options. They can start the runner at first base. Pitcher just gets himself in a hole anytime he runs the count full to 3-2. This is the pitch that he wants right here.
He got him right there, struck him out. Forster gets his 3rd strikeout, first out in this 8th inning. It's a big one.
He needs it out of the inning, of course, and he goes to what his favorite pitch is, I guess, you have to say, is slider.
Look at that leg kick. You talk about snapping something.
He does pop that elbow, and that'll cause a lot of stiffness, a lot of soreness. You know, facially, he's got looks a lot like one of the old, not the old, I shouldn't say that, one of the great Dodger right-handers, Don Drysdale.
Ah, you say so.
He does. Forster or Drysdale?
Don Drysdale. Here's Cliff Johnson. Woo. That got Yeager.
Johnson got a piece of the ball. He sent Piniella back. Now, Michaels is coming down the coaching line to argue. He didn't think he got a piece of it, but we'll see it. Cliff checks the swing, tries to get away.
What did he hit?
Must hit either his bat dragging down or his elbow.
Couldn't hit his elbow.
Now watch the umpire.
He'd have gone down.
They stopped the tape, but it looked as if, almost as if the umpire motioned him to first base. Cliff picked up the bat, stayed in the batter's box, didn't want to go to first.
That hit the barrel of the bat as he was dragging behind when he checked the swing.
It had to hit that bat because he's still there, and it's strike one. One out. Piniella's at first. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers 4, Yankees 3. We're in the 8th inning. There you see Piniella. Johnson pinch hitting for Doyle.
Show you how rough ball players can have it sometime. While that playoff game was going in Boston, Cliff's wife was having a baby. Couldn't get home.
Right. 1 man out. Bob Lemon looking on. Gene Monahan, the trainer. Behind him, familiar picture. Yogi on the telephone, taking reservations at the racquetball court. Forster taking just a little bit more time now. Time runs on. Popped up behind the plate, but it's going to be out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Dodger bench. Lasorda, Ferguson, Lefevre. You get down here in that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, leading by a run. All the jokes stop.
All the jokes stop, and you can go through a pack of tobacco in about 15 pitches, too.
Lou Piniella. Tyne runs at first. He's checking the outfield. Checking Hauser. High bouncing ball is saved. They go to second. 1 out. Over to first. It is a double play. Cliff Johnson hits it to a double play. 5-4-3. And that ends the inning. A big around the horn. Piniella sees the ball hit, takes off. He knows he's in trouble. Lopes a good pivot. In time, Johnson stretches it. A big double play for the Dodgers. So we go into the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's Los Angeles 4, Yankees 3. And Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, and Reggie Smith will be the Dodger hitters. Spencer's at first now. Stanley is at second. Dent and Nettles, the infield, as Davey Lopes takes it high. Ball 1.
There's Stanley, the new second baseman.
Center field, Paul Blair's got a beat on it. Makes the play. I think I said 55,997. That was last night. It's 55,982. There's Blair.
You're looking at an artist right there. One of the best to play in the American League at that position in many a year. Paul Blair. He's got a ton of gold gloves at home.
Here is Bill Russell. Russell is 1 for 3. Fouls it off for strike 1. Gossage against Forster. 2 hard throwers.
I don't know how many gold gloves are in a ton. 8. They had the price. Gold price today.
All right, Tony. Tries the bunt, bunts it foul.
This guy's got to be tough to bunt off. As hard as he throws, and he puts everything into it. Well, he just comes firing at home plate, and he's a big man, big, strong chest.
Ball Blair again.
Another fastball, send fly ball to center field.
You know, the worst feeling for a hitter is what Gossage does to begin his windup. He looks to the ground. The guy throws that hard. You got a couple kids at home. You want him to look at you at all times.
He drops down from 3/4 a little bit, too, on occasion. And you can see some tail ends flying if you're a right-handed hitter.
Here's Reggie Smith. Ball one.
This is a pretty good personal matchup, Gossage and Smith. Smith, a very good fastball hitter.
Ball two. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Dodgers 4, Yankees 3. We're in the 8th. 3 balls, no strikes. Yankees will send up Dent, White, Blair in the 9th inning. He had a cut at a 3-ball, no strike there.
I made a comment just before the 3-0 pitch that Smith is a good fastball hitter. But I'll tell you what, you're talking about a different kind of fastball with Gossage.
Hot smash. Spencer has it. He'll take to play himself. Steps on the bag. It's 1, 2, 3. So at the end of 8 complete innings, the score here. Los Angeles 4. New York 3. That's your regular time. We're in the 9th. Bucky Dent. Tying run is on. It's a base hit to left field.
This game can have some funny twists as Baker gets the ball back in. Forster pitching for the Dodgers. Gossage in the game for the Yankees. Dent just gets a base hit. They were former roommates, as we told you yesterday. There's the bench. Chambliss right there, who is not playing today.
Roy White's the batter, but let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Roy White misses the bunt. It's a strike. Garvey was charging hard. So was Say. White is 2 for 4. He lined out in the 1st inning. He singled, scored in the 3rd, popped in the 2nd baseman in the 5th, singled and scored in the 7th. White takes a good look at Hauser to see if it's still on. Then a good lead. Switched. He was running. Tapped on the 3rd base line. It's going to be a tough play. Roy White is out on a close play at 1st.
He did the job, though. He made contact in a tough pitch. Looked like it was dialed in. Maybe a slider. Even get his bat on it was a good performance to get that runner in scoring position, Tom.
You know, it's good aggressive baseball, too, by the Yankees, Tony. It was a slider down and in. Looks like it might have hit his bat into his leg there. A good play by Terry Forster off the mound. Just as good as a bunt. Got a man in scoring position. Yankees got a chance for Paul Blair or Thurman Munson to drive him in, tie the game up.
Super play by Forster. A left-hander is a little bit tougher. Here is Blair. Hit the first pitch for a double. He came on and replaced Thomason. That was in the 7th inning. Paul Blair. Yeager, you can bet, remembers that first pitch that Blair hit. Ball 1.
There's some definite butterflies in the stomach of number 2 right there, that's for sure. These Yankees don't want to go back to Yankee Stadium down 2 games. They get a rally, tie it up, or go ahead. They'd love to go back 1-1, and that man, Terry Forster, as you look at Bucky Dent at second, trying to stop this Yankee rally.
1 out. Breaking ball inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike on Paul Blair.
Talk about guys that like to hit fastballs. Paul Blair does. Once in a while, he can generate a little power, too, because he swings awfully hard.
Whoa, takes it inside. He was going to bunt for the base hit.
You bet. He had Say back a little bit, and Garvey on the other side.
So it's 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. There's the defense. At second base, Bucky Dent. He is the tying run. We're in the 9th. Dodgers 4, Yankees 3. 3-run homer by Say in the 6th gave the Dodgers the lead.
Yankees have left 8 men on base through 8 innings in this ballgame, but you want to know how efficient the Dodgers have been? They've left just 2 on base.
Time call once again. Blair wasn't ready. Cat and mouse going here. All the way inside. Almost hit him, and now it's 3-1. Blair will take a look at Hauser, whether he'll be hitting or taking. Bob Lemon will flash the sign. That's Willie Randolph to his left. Willie's suited, but not eligible to play in this series. Now Blair backs out. He got the sign from the bench.
You got to bet that Forster's taking a little glance at the on-deck circle at Munson, too. They're going to pitch to him.
Ball for walking. And Tom Lasorda may have to make a decision. He's just motioned to talk to him and stall for time. And as a catcher, you see, just simply go out there.
Bob Welch, the right-hander, the young, hard thrower. Tom Seaver talked about him yesterday. The left-hander was Lance Rotson. Here comes Tommy. He wanted to stall for time. Red Adams, the pitching coach, was on the phone to check with the bullpen catcher, Mark Creasy, to see if the pitcher was ready. The right-hander, Welch. I don't think he had too many pitches thrown out there, Tommy. And he's had a little shoulder problem or elbow problem, we understand, so he'd need a little more time to loosen up.
Well, if he needs time, he's got the guy on the mound to give it to him. I mean, sort of. He can hold court out there for about a half an hour if he has to.
I think that's the sign you get the most from a manager, that moving of the fingers like that, which you just go out there and just simply start. Now, Haller is standing at home plate. He's just going to go out there now. He's going to go out there now because they're just standing out there talking. Munson is just waiting. You're not saying anything. You're just saying, hey, I'm going to stand out here until he comes out. Here he comes, and then you just stand around.
Thurman's enjoying himself, isn't he?
Welch. He's going with the youngster, Bob Welch. Here he comes. So we've got a break in the action here. We're in the ninth. The tying run is on at second. Base runner at first. One man out. 4-3. Dodgers over the Yankees. We'll be right back. As a hard thrower now. Little intrigue. Munson is heading to the on deck. Jackson was out, and he's in the dugout now talking to Greg Nettles. As we see Forster in the Dodger dugout. Munson heading back. Jackson still talking to Nettles. It just breaks up.
Well, Munson and Jackson talked, and then Jackson went in to talk to Nettles, and a little brief scouting report. What is he throwing? Nettles apparently knows more about Welch. Relayed the scouting report. And then Welch is warming up right now. Here is another hard thrower.
Talk about those scouting reports. The fellows who compile them for the Yankees, Bertie Tebbetts, Harry Kraft. I think there's one more. And the Dodgers, it was Jerry Stevenson, Charlie Metro, and Ed Liberatore.
Jerry Walker's had a little to do with coordinating the scouting staff. He was at the championship series. He really scouted Philadelphia and the Dodgers a lot of the time.
What can you really say about young Welch, that he just throws hard, throws strikes, and the games we saw him, Tony, on our game of the week, that crucial game that the Dodgers will pinpoint and say that's the one to turn us around. He just reared back and fired.
Tom Seaver talked about that yesterday. They were in the midst of a 6-game losing streak. They'd lost the first game of the series in Candlestick to the San Francisco Giants, and this kid came out of nowhere. In fact, it's interesting how they got him. He would have been regarded very highly and drafted by someone else, but he had a sore arm, missed a whole year of pitching, I believe in college. The Dodgers took a chance on him. He sat a whole year out, and look what he's done for him this year.
He's 21 years old. He'll be 22 years old on November 3rd. Born in Detroit, lives in Ferndale. His dad is here, was in the clubhouse, met with him, and you can bet that he's got some butterflies as he checks the runners like we do. Dent's at second. Blair is at first. Munson is the batter. One man out. Ninth inning. Dodgers lead 4-3. Munson, a base hit in the first. Walked, struck out in the fifth and the seventh. Strike one. He'll not be thinking. He'll be throwing. Bob Welch. Is there, makes the play, so there are two away in a runner's hole, and Welch runs all the way over to third, backing up the play. The youngster obviously schooled well in the fundamentals.
That play might not have been as easy as it looked, because Reggie Smith was battling that bank of lights up here, and he got way down low to the ground until the ball came out. You hear about the sun a lot, but the lights in a lot of these stadiums will bother you too.
Now it comes down to the man, there's Reggie Smith. The man who's been called the autumn child by many, Reggie Jackson. A big conference on the mound, just more or less to settle his youngster down. Tom, if you don't know how to pitch to him now, this is no time to confuse him, huh?
Well, it's not time to go to school. You have to have your mind made up when you walk out of that bullpen. Those guys coming in know who they're going to face and who what strengths they have, what weaknesses they have. They should have an idea what they're doing. A little commotion out in right field. Looks like we have a Frisbee and some paper out there in right field. They're going to stop play for a moment. The one thing about this youngster, Bob Welch, they've clocked him in that 95-mile-an-hour range with his fastball. He's got an outstanding fastball. The thing about him as a young pitcher, he has very good control with it. Got a good breaking ball. Seldom will throw a changeup. He's working on a changeup. He's got a good fastball. And much of the time knows how to throw it. That was a signal for the changeup for his catcher right there as they do a little warm-up while they're clearing the debris in right field.
So we're down to the last out for the Yankees. Dent, the tying run at second. Tiebreaker, Blair's at first. Reggie Jackson is the batter.
You couldn't ask for a more dramatic moment for a young pitcher to walk into right here.
Strike one.
Wow!
This crowd will tell you what's happening. Listen to them. Jackson regrouping. Some standing, some seated. 21 years old. Bob Welch. 1 ball, 1 strike. They've been sending that low bridge all night to Reggie Jackson.
He really gets out of the way late, doesn't he? He doesn't get down and that ball's almost by him. Look at this. He starts after it. Wonder why he gets hurt. Reggie has been hit in the head at least a couple of times that I know of.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, tying run at second. Bucky Dent, Paul Blair's at first.
And you know the guy at the plate, a guy who just has a knack for knowing the greatness of a moment, Reggie Jackson.
Fouls it back with fastball. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pressure mounts. Listen to these fans. Studying determination. Bob Welch, a deep breath, maybe a half prayer, and his best pitch. Fouled it back. What a battle.
Well, I'm telling you, my palms are sweating up here in the booth.
Bob Lemon, Dodger fans, Yankee fans, baseball fans. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Tying run at second. 4-3. Dodgers, 9th inning. How to play. You think he's got wide in the strike zone a bit? There's the Dodger bench. Can't tell if he's winning or losing. Bob Lemon.
It's a classic matchup between a fastball pitcher and a guy that swings hard in a game-winning situation right here, too.
Look at that study. Ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jackson.
Tying run at second. That's the lead run at first. That's Dent at second. Blair at first. Blair can run. He can score an extra base hit.
Well, you're getting it all here. The kid against the veteran. The fastballer against a fastball hitter.
That Dodger outfielder swung around the right and way deep. They do not want an extra base hit in this situation. North and Smith are playing near the warning track.
Foul back. Jackson continues to battle Welch. Welch continues to battle Jackson.
He's fouling the pitches off, too, that people get him out on.
Yes.
High and tight.
Tell you, this kid, he doesn't have any shorts when it comes to that thing called guts. He proved it in San Francisco and here tonight. He's just looking in, getting his sign and firing. Listen to the crowd. percentage now. Paul Blair will be off as soon as Welch starts at the plate. Quite possible he could score on that long single. Percentage to go to 3-2, and it swings to the Yankees, and Jackson makes the kid wait. Dent at second. Blair at first. 2 outs.
Excitement it is down here. They're still roaring, standing up. They're on their feet down here in these box seats during that individual battle between the kid and the big star Reggie Jackson. And now the Yankees go home. Only 5 clubs in the history of the World Series have ever been 2 games down and come back to win a World Series. The last to do it, the Pirates in '71. They had the inspirational leadership of the late Roberto Clemente, who led the Pirate charge back to beat the Orioles. And more now, the big hope of the Yankees has to be Ron Guidry, the best baseball pitcher this year. And he'll go Friday night. It'll be a dramatic confrontation between Guidry and the Dodgers, and we'll see what happens. And now, back upstairs.
Well, the excitement is there. The Dodgers win game number 2. On Friday, it'll be Ron Guidry who'll have to be the stopper. It'll be a long plane ride for these Yankees. They had the time run on, but Bob Welch, the youngster, came in, battled Reggie Jackson, a classic battle, and Jackson ended up striking out to end the ball game, and the Dodgers win game number 2 by the score of 4-3. 4-7-0 for the Dodgers, 3-11-0 for the New York Yankees. So far, Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver, and Curt Gowdy, this is Joe Garagiola saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Game 2 of the 1978 World Series has been brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth, who invites you to see the beautiful new Chrysler Newport. And discover that now you can have it all right now. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Etra, for closeness with comfort, it's Gillette's best shave. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Oldmeyer. Today's World Series telecast was produced by George Finkel, directed by Harry Coyle, and the pregame was produced by David Stern. Directed by Ken Fouts. Technical director Ray Figelski. Associate producer Ken Edmondson. Associate directors Richard Klein and Bob Levy. Friday at 8 o'clock, it's Game 3 of the World Series, and what a series it's going to be. Sunday, regional NFL action starting with NFL 78. You check your local listings. And World Series Game 5, if necessary, at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And now the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, following local news on the West Coast and most Mountain Time Zone stations. Now here's a final word from Steve Garvey.
Really nice to win the first 2 games.